Hey everybody, it's your true crime junkies and your favorite true crime show hosts, Solomon and Frankie J, for the after show from tonight's show on Happy Face. That was a fun
Yes,
show, wasn't
sir.
it, Solomon?
Yes, indeed. It was pretty fun. It was a lot. There was a lot of questions with that one. There was a lot of things that definitely wanted to bring up because it's just the interesting part of this whole dynamic of Happy Face.
Happy,
Um, uh,
happy, joy,
uh,
joy.
happy, joy, joy, happy, joy, joy, happy, joy, joy. Ren and Stimpy classic.
Mhm.
But the most important thing that I am processing with Happy Face is the fact that this man not only brought his son, right, but it's the fact that the whole family is there's a lot of mixed components to the family when it comes to Happy Face. I
Wait,
mean,
what part? What family? His family or the
his
victims?
family. No,
Yeah.
his family.
Oh,
Just the thought that your father is a serial killer, and then
yeah.
when you think about the show, there was a part, and I haven't gotten to the latest episodes, but the part that I'm on, not to give too much detail, but they start to figure out that this serial killer is related to them, and it's just a simple thought of, man, if you find out that your father or your partner or even your child is a serial killer, how would you react?
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
You haven't decided yet.
I mean, it's bad enough when you're a young kid and you find a porn magazine in your parents' bedroom.
Mhm.
So to imagine finding out that, I don't know what I would think, to be honest with you. Oh, I've never had to deal with that. Although, no, I don't think I've ever had to deal with that.
Okay, you sure
Well,
you haven't dealt with that?
I I gotta say hi to my buddy Eric, who's watching live over on Instagram. And yeah, everybody who's watching, feel free to drop comments. We can see the comments from where we're recording from Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or
Yes.
Instagram. We don't put our live show on Instagram just because that's really not a platform, I don't think, for hour-long shows. So
Mhm.
I decided just to keep well, the after show is gonna probably go longer, so I just put my
Yeah.
foot in my mouth now. But, yeah, Eric will know who I'm talking about here, where in where I come from, Buffalo, I did have who was an inspiring serial killer when he was 18 years old, who hated me and wanted to beat me up all the way up until I moved, and this is less than 6 months ago, so
Oh my
there is an
god.
inspiring serial killer that doesn't like me. At
Oh
least
my
he told me that he wanted to be a serial killer, and Eric will know who I'm talking about.
oh my goodness.
I told you
That's
about this
wild.
weirdo, didn't I? I used to work with him, and he told me one time when he was really angry as a kid that he came up
Mm.
with this elaborate plan to become, a serial killer, an interstate serial killer, to be, particular. He had a whole map drawn out where he was going to start, what kind of weapons he was going to use, and what people he was going to shoot at, what kind of people he was going to shoot at, and he was dead serious. No pun intended. For you TikTokers. Anyways, I said
He
a
was
bad TikTok word. Don't say dead.
he was
Say that on
unalive
TikTok.
serious.
Yeah, on a live serious. I mean, can't take it. It's TikTok jazz. Anyways, yeah, he had this elaborate plan, and my supervisor at the time used to be a psychotherapist and had his time to talk with him at a later date and filled me in on, yeah, he was serious. He's as serious as a heart attack. I'm like, oh. And right up till the bitter end, I kept telling the guy, I'm like, just come to my house. Just come over. You don't have to be sneaky and grab me on a bike path. Just come to my house and do what you got to do. He never showed up.
Mm. Well,
Anyways,
it's
that's my serial killer story.
that's wild.
Yeah.
And I just have to say, it is a taboo topic, right? It's taboo when we talk about something like this. Just the simple fact that someone do something that devious. I mean, it just shatters the whole family dynamic as a whole. You imagine that someone has done the things that they have done, and then as the family, you're still trying to hold on to make the family work. But man, I don't know how a family could survive after that. I know, like some of them, like for example, Jeffrey Dahmer. I know his father wrote a book, and he tried to, I don't know, he tried to make it work in his own way. But it's interesting. Uh-oh, look like you're muted there.
I did that on purpose. I said a swear word.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Self-policing yourself.
But anyways, what the hell was I gonna say? Go back to what you were saying. I forgot.
No, I was just
Oh
talking
yeah, wait.
about.
I remembered.
You remember? Okay.
Jeffrey Dahmer. His father's as weird as they come. For some reason, I feel like that man has something to do with something. He taught it. I every time I've seen or heard him interviewed or seen him interviewed, anything like that, he's always weird. His father's as weird as he is, and maybe he just never got caught. He's still alive.
He is really?
I think so,
Wow.
isn't he?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, like I said, the serial killer part is so taboo. Most people are so focused on them, not the families. So who knows? He might be still alive and just living a good life at this point. I don't know. But when you look at Happy Face,
I'm looking right now to see if he's alive.
yeah,
keep
go
talking.
ahead. Go ahead. I was just gonna say with Happy Face in the show, the main protagonist is the daughter, right? So the story is about her. Just giving a quick summary. They want to make a show based off of her father, who is this serial killer named Happy Face, and she was going back and forth with it, but I'll leave it with that because anything more, I'll pretty much tell the whole story. I don't want to do that, but it still brings that dynamic of knowing that you have a family member that have done these devious things, and then you're now put in a way in the limelight unintentionally because you're associated with that. And that part is just it's I can't even imagine, Frankie. I can't imagine being in that situation, man.
I can't either. To me, it's like most of these serial killers, they live the double lives, as we already know, and we've found out through doing these shows. Well, I've found out because I'm a freak with true crime, anyways. They lead these double lives, and these poor kids and family. Thank God that they honor what they call an emergency divorce, where they don't have to go through the process of filing and petitioning and going. That you can divorce this dude now, and we got your back. I wish they had that for my wives. That would be awesome. Emergency divorce, Frankie J. Emergency divorce. So, anyways, I can't imagine if anybody out there listening has any idea how these people may cope. I don't really know.
So
it's got to be hard, right? Well, what's that?
So that's a thing that you can have an emergency divorce.
You didn't know that?
Well, no, I didn't. I actually didn't know, Frankie. I mean, I always felt the divorce was state by state, right? How they go about those things. But that would make sense because of something like this. I mean, especially if they confess and they said they've done all these devious things. I mean,
well, even if they get arrested, charged with a horrific crime, and the evidence is mounted against them, they can get an emergency divorce. They don't necessarily have to wait for conviction and trial and all that.
Sure.
But I am going to Google that. But it is a thing because every serial case killer that I've ever dove into or researched, which is probably all of them, except for the European ones or the ones overseas that aren't in the U.S. Shame on me. I should get more well-rounded. But here's the thing. Everyone I've seen, the wife was able to immediately get an emergency divorce right away and never have to speak of, and they are sometimes immediately given back their maiden name or allowed to change their last name. And in some cases, relocated, almost like a witness
Wow.
protection program to avoid media attention too, because they want to meet the family, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
And they're going to harass the hell out of the family, even though they don't think they're harassing them, but they're going to. They want the story. Everyone wants a better story, and
Of course.
they don't care about that kind of
I
stuff.
mean, look
That's
at
just that's my take on it.
look at Rex Herman, the Long Island serial killer. That's what's going on
I don't
over
know
there.
his name. I just know that Long Island serial killer. But yes,
Yeah, his name
I'll
is
take that.
Rex Herman or Herman. Don't want mess up the last name, but yeah, the Long Island serial killer. The documentary that I watched was the Gogi Beach the Gogi Beach murders, which is a very good documentary. If you have a Netflix subscription to watch it, by all means watch it. It was pretty good. But the one thing about that case towards the end, got the family involved, and of course the family didn't know what was going on, and then the minute they found out who they were and where they lived, it was just a media circus,
Of
right?
course.
So just imagine, right? You're the son or daughter, and then you find this out, and then you have to go to school the next day. Like, how can you do that? How can you do that? Or you're working and you found this out, your partner is this, and then you go to your job and like, oh my goodness, it's
Okay.
crazy.
I'm still trying to find the answer to that question.
Keep chucking along, man.
Okay.
Keep chugging along.
Here you go. You ready?
Yeah. Yes.
It says here, this is Google, so it's always correct. We all know that. Yes, emergency divorces or at least expedited divorce proceedings may be granted in cases involving spouses of horrific criminals, particularly if there's a risk of domestic violence or the spouse is a victim of abuse. These cases often involve urgent situations requiring immediate protection and may be handled through protective orders, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, see, I could have gotten an emergency divorce. Man. Huh.
Well,
Anyways,
now you
yeah.
know.
Yeah. So yes, they can give and they do. I mean, if your husband's a serial killer and killed 8 women, I mean, obviously there are some women that would stick by their man's side and they
Sure.
do that, but I'm certain that she didn't want to stick by his side after that. I did find something out, by the way, that I did not bring up in the show. Anyways, the first guy that was convicted of Tanya Bennett, his first victim, on January 21st, 1990, this woman, her name is Laverne Pavlanak, was in an abusive relationship with a drunk husband who would black out all the time. She wanted so badly to get out of that relationship that she gave tips to the police that he might be the one, blah, 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 blah. She changed her story, however, and said that the two of them had met Bennett, the girl, at a Portland bar, forced her to help him rape Bennett and dispose of the body. They interviewed the guy, the boyfriend, who denied any of the claims. A search failed to turn up any incriminating evidence, whatever. So this woman had this guy, abusive or not, put in prison for a long time. She spent a long time in prison too, because she self-incriminated herself like an idiot and said she helped murder the girl that she put. Yeah. So I forgot to bring that up though.
That's wild.
Right?
That again, this whole case, again, this isn't like a Gary Ridgway, right? Where there's so many murders, so many victims. But
Yeah.
this one was just so messy, just everything that comes along with this. I mean, they're all just sad regardless because there's people lives that were lost. But this one in particular is just so messed up. And the fact that he brought his son, well, same thing with Gary Ridgway, but
Yeah.
man, that's just so weird, man.
Well, what makes it even weirder is when they finally figured out who it was, this, Keith Jesper, Happy Face, he talked to the authorities on the phone for a couple of days because he was out driving, long haul truck driver. So he's on the road and they're trying to get him to come in. He called, kept in contact with them, was real humble, friendly, waited at one of the truck stops to be arrested, was always pleasant, and everything else. So the guy was like, he fit his signature, the happy face. He
Mm,
fit who he was, the happy face killer. Except in those moments of when he did the unaliving. I'll just say it one time.
unaliving. Good job.
Maybe we should get some stickers made.
That says unaliving.
Unaliving with a big cross to it, like, I don't know, like an anti-TikTok. We'll hand them out to people, and then we'll put
Hey,
crime through time on the bottom.
hey, I like TikTok. I like the people on
I know
TikTok.
you
I
do.
like, you know,
I don't
have
hate
a very
TikTok. I
nice.
just don't like their rules. Stupid.
They, excuse me. They do have some strict rules, so I definitely understand that.
Rules are fine, but theirs are ridiculous.
Mm.
We're talking about true crime. The word murder is going to come up. The word, I mean, I could, not say rape and say sexually assaulted or whatever, but they both sound horrible.
Well, TikTok is weird. There's like certain words that you can get away with. There's certain words, but then there's just like other words that they've really honed in on, and it's like automated. They listen to it, and I think the algorithm, I guess their AI detection, wherever they use to detect those trigger words, that
Yes,
just cause those strikes. So yeah, they don't play with that. Unlike YouTube, my friend, good old YouTube, YouTube do not
they
care
like me.
as long as you don't copyright.
I'm
That's their
YouTube
big
friendly. So, okay, so Jeffrey Dahmer's father died at age
Oh, you did.
87. Yeah, he's gone.
Okay.
It was in December of 23, so, well, 2 years ago.
Oh, it was 2 years ago. Okay.
Yep. He apologized about raising a serial killer son. See? Why would he apologize if he had nothing to do with it?
Mm.
Think of it.
That is
You're a licensed
so
therapist.
well, I mean, there could
Well,
be
and
a lot of different reasons.
why do you wait till he was on his deathbed to say those words? By the way,
Well, I
I'm
mean,
sorry I raised a serial killer son. Wouldn't you have said that earlier?
well, I I
What?
assume for many people when they're on their deathbed, and I used to work in hospice, and when you're about to go, when that time is up, your mind, a lot of things happen if you are fortunate enough to have your cognitions intact. Sometimes a lot of people have regret. A lot of people have these thoughts of like, man, I just want to make up and make peace as much as I can. Because at the end of the day, if your time is gone, if you know that you're about to go, why not make peace with it? So maybe in his way, maybe that was his way of doing it. But again, I wasn't there as deathbed, but
Okay,
I could say that everyone has their own way of doing it.
I got an idea. Well, it's not my idea. It's one of our super fans over on X. I won't mention her name unless she comes up in the comments on her own. In any event, she just gave me a good idea. She doesn't like that we're not doing the regular spaces because she likes to talk. So we took that away from her. Sorry about that. Nothing personal. We just wanted to level our game up and be in the pink bubble and not the underworld of spaces. In
Yes,
any
sir.
event, she came up with this idea. Let's come up with a vote. Here's my question. Does anybody here think in particular that Jeffrey Dahmer's father had something to do with the way his son was other than donating sperm? Meaning, we've all seen the show Dexter. His
Mhm.
stepfather Harry taught him the code on how to
Right.
use his killing in the best way he could and turned him into a vigilante. Does all our listeners, mostly on Twitter right now, on X, sorry, anybody out there wants to throw in the comments, vote if they think yes, his father had everything to do with the way his son was, even teaching him and maybe showing him by ways of behaving as himself. You know how you become a product of your environment. If typically in an abusive household, if you're abused and you see it's wrong, but you still do it, it carries over to the next generation.
Yeah.
Or do you say no, his dad didn't have anything to do with it? So yes, if you think his father had more to do with it or knew more, or no, I'm completely nuts. We'll leave that up to the listeners.
Very good. No,
And
I
Giddy
agree.
Bunny said, "I can say your name. Hi, Giddy Bunny. Why don't you answer? Why don't you be the first vote, Giddy Bunny?"
Yeah,
And we
go
can,
ahead.
and if there are any loyal listeners out there, we are able to give out a mic, and you can come on stage. You don't have to show your face. You can do audio only and come live and talk with us. But we'd have to send you a link through an email or no, or wherever, and you'd have to sign into our green room. But anyways, no, we did. Yeah, you did talk about the tortured animals. Jeffrey Dahmer tortured animals and got his rocks off on it. I think you
Mhm.
brought that up, didn't you, Solomon?
It was Happy
He,
Face did that, and Jeffrey Dahmer. Well, the thing, I don't think Jeffrey Dahmer tortured, but he did a lot of experiments with them. He did like a lot of stuff with them, and if you if you ever recall like some of the documentaries, the father was the one that actually influenced him to try like taxidermy and that kind of stuff because he felt that his son was awkward and he wasn't making any friends and probably thought he was depressed and maybe that was his way of trying to help him, but well, he unfortunately used it in a very dark and devious way. So yeah, I mean that also raised another question, man. Like if you're the parent of a serial killer, right? I mean, I wonder if people just if those parents have just have that guilt if they're alive to know it. I wonder how much guilt they put themselves about it because some of them, of course, like the Eileen Wuornos of the world, they had severe abuse and all these horrible things that have had happen. But then there were some where you know they lived in a somewhat decent life, right? So
yeah, yeah.
how do you go about it?
I mean, I don't know. I never abused animals, so
Hmm.
I can't speak. I don't see the want or need for someone to do that. But then again, I'm not them, so everyone's got their story, right?
Right.
These people turn up the way they do, and
Or
something happens. Like they get dropped in their head. They're in the birth canal too long. Mom's breast milk was tainted by drugs and alcohol use. There could be so many different reasons. Region where you live. I know that certain parts of Western New York have a very high saturation of men between the ages of what 20 something and 40 something that have MS. There's different saturations, like in Niagara Falls, people grow tails and glow in the dark because of the toxic waste. So it depends. I mean, there could be a lot of factors if you want to get scientific about it on why
yeah.
people become screwed up like that.
Mm. You
So
know, someone said, I don't know if it's true, but the highest amount of serial killers is based off of this section in Canada. Apparently, they have a whole bunch of them over there, and the state of Ohio for some reason. I've heard of that, but Frankie, this is that old question: whether people who are that devious is it genetic or is it environmental? And I always
yeah,
say that it's a combination of both. Usually, it is a combination of both, but mostly environmental. I would say. One could argue that like with child abuse, a lot of these serial killers were abused as a child, physically
but
or
most
sexually
of
or
a
both.
lot of them weren't though.
There were some that weren't, right? But
I
then
mean,
they would torture, they would abuse animals. They would be the abuser, right? And then there were some that were obsessed with fire, and there used to be an old study that you had to have like two out of the three or three of the three to be considered, you know, considered on that criteria of being a serial killer or something like that. But I look at those people, right? How do you, it's sickening. And then you have a guy like Rex the Long Island serial killer who ended
Mhm.
up being like some sort of architect. He wasn't like a architect, but he worked in that firm, like a pretty decent firm in New York City, up in the Manhattan high rise. And then he'll come into Long Island. He'll drive to Long Island. He had a pretty. It looked like from the outside in that he has this really nice life, right? Like everything looks good, but then he would have this facade of like doing these awful things that he would moonlight doing, and
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
wild.
Just real quick, to those that are watching on X, if you want to drop comments, all you have to do is just go to the post where the show is playing live, or you can click at the top where the show is playing on your
Yeah,
smartphone
yeah,
and comment there. I'm just doing confirmation here because I'm pretty sure you can.
yeah,
'Cause I've been telling people forever, yeah, just comment. Yeah, um,
yeah. Just comment. We have 28 people here,
yeah.
so more than happy.
I'm going in the pink bubble right now to make sure you can comment from the pink bubble. You know where the spaces are usually at the top.
Yeah,
Don't mind me. This is an after show, so there's no like structure here. I'm just
yeah. We're just winging it.
yeah, sort of. Okay, so I'm opening that up. Yeah, you can it's called live chat, Giddy. If you go into the pink bubble, you can um add comments into the it says live chat. You just gotta hit it.
Yeah.
Anyways, if that answers everyone's question.
Yeah. And look, like with our show, like right now we're wrapping up Happy Face. We're wrapping up you know, we've been doing work, we've been investigating on serial killers for like the past few weeks. But hey, with our show, we cover all of true crime. So
All the time, true crime.
all the time, true crime. That should be our slogan.
Yeah.
Slogan.
No, we don't want to get sued for intellectual
Crime through
property
time.
rights.
Stop.
I gotta be careful of that. Someone
Crime
else might
through
have said that
time.
at one time. It's my idea.
Well,
It
I,
happens though. I'm just
I
kidding.
yeah. Well, I look at it this way. If it's anything that is popular, that's trending, that is that you feel interesting, message us. Put a comment out there. Let us know because we're here for the people. We are here for the people, right,
Like
Frankie?
we're here for the
We're
people.
here for the people. So if there's anything that's interesting that you want us to dig into, by all means. I mean, right now I am looking more into these stories that are that are a little more recent. That
Mhm.
hey, even ongoing cases, right? There's that thing in Texas that's not considered a case because they haven't filed it a case, but
True.
there's a lot of weird things going on over there in Austin, right, Frankie? It was over in Austin.
Yes, one of our show. Well, we haven't seen her in a couple weeks, but she wanted us to investigate this ongoing thing that's going on in Austin, Texas. Some lake where I think the body counts up to 14 in what about 5 years, and they're just not convinced it's a serial killer because it's different causes of death and
Mhm.
different stories. The police and media really won't dig into it, and this woman wanted us to cover it. We haven't heard from her in a couple weeks. I'm not sure if that's because we didn't cover that show right away or what, but I mean, this one's going to take a little time. This is something that's ongoing that there's no definitive information really out there except what's being. I mean, how we have to dig into it a little bit.
We have to be
So
private eyes. We have to really dig deep in
yeah,
that.
you
But
pay for
we'll.
my trip and I'll go.
You're
Okay,
gonna
Giddy
trip
Bunny,
off.
listen. If you're on your phone, you just go to the top where you would click into a space, click into the pink bubble, not and click on that, and you'll see the option to do live chat, like where you put your post on the post of our show. She says it's pausing the show when she comments, but you have to comment in the live feed of the like
In
the
the live
space
feed, yeah.
in the pink space at the top. If you go up top there, you should be able to leave a comment. I've never
Oh,
had an issue
Frankie,
with that. Yeah,
Frankie, did you hear what happened over in FSU, man?
no.
Yeah, there was a mass shooting.
When today?
Yeah, today, man.
FSU is that?
Yeah, Florida State
Oh,
University. I
what
think
is
there
going
were
on in your neck of the woods, buddy?
in Florida. It's been chaotic, man.
Jeepers,
Unfortunately,
reading about it right now. Yeah, holy cow.
Yeah.
Two dead, one person in custody. Oh, jeez. Oh.
It's terrible, man.
Is 2 considered a mass shooting? Well, 1 is too many, but what's considered a... Oh, it was an active shooter that was probably taken pretty quickly.
Yeah. Because there were many people that were injured.
Florida State gunman used deputy's mom's former service weapon.
What?
There you go. So his mother was a deputy sheriff, and he used her former service weapon. So there you go. We talk about good childhoods. I mean, his mother was a cop or a deputy. It says, it doesn't say deputy sheriff, but I added that in there. So what do you say about that? You brought it up.
I didn't know that. So just to clarify, the gunman, his mother, was a deputy for the sheriff's office in Florida.
I'm reading right now. 2. Okay, so killed 2, wounded 6. It says here. Let me dig a little bit.
We could pull up a clip.
Authorities have not yet revealed a motive. The shooter believed to be a Florida State student. They said, I'm trying to find the stuff about his mom. I'm trying to skip through the article. I want to read the whole article.
Yeah.
It doesn't say too much here.
Let me pull up just pull it up, man.
Oh, why do you got to sign up for stuff just to see stuff? I don't want to sign up for the Associated Press. I just want to read your news online for free.
Every single time you're trying to just regular like text content, like an article. Everyone's like, hey, you have to have a $1 per month subscription. Like what? No,
I don't want it. I just want to read it one time. I don't even want to pay $1 to read it one time. Stupid. Thanks everybody for being here. By the way, we were up to over 30 people live on X, and we have, well, they're all on X. We have a few on your handle and a few on my handle. So thanks for being here. Again, everybody who's watching, if you see the live chat option, you can hit the live chat option and drop comments, and we can mingle a little bit. If you have anything to add that we might have missed from the show, or something you wanted to bring up, or future topics you want us to cover, definitely drop them in the comments, or feel free to send them to us at our email address, which is info@rawlive.com. I'm going to pop that up on the screen here because there's 2 W's in Raw. A lot of people get that wrong. Just send us an email and give us any questions you might have about the show, or any future show ideas that you'd like to hear covered. We can't promise that we'll cover every one of them. It's got to fall within our scope of what we're willing to cover. Obviously, there's certain things that I'll say no to just because. Solomon, I'm certain you would be the same way. But you know, that's the email if you want to do that, or you can drop us a DM on the platforms here, X, Facebook, YouTube. Even you can drop comments and messages too. Some of you, that's the only place you can drop a comment. So anyways,
I'm just actually excuse me. I'm just actually pulling up a video
about Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna share it?
Yeah, I'm gonna extract it and
all your technical terms. I'm going to extract it. Is that allowed on TikTok? Can you say extract?
Extract.
That word offends me. Stop saying that. It looks like you have a rainbow going through your camera on your screen.
Yeah, I see that. It's probably the light.
Is your monitor broken?
No.
Did you ever break a TV, like an LED TV, and you get those stupid lines? I had one TV one time. It was an LCD. It was an older one, but the screen started going bad. There was a crack in it, and if you'd go over and push on the crack, it would come back and work perfectly. But you had to do it every time you turned the TV on.
Right.
Maybe just punch your screen real quick.
No, I'm not going to punch the screen.
Just punch it. Get an Apple. Oh, can we joke about Apple? Are we allowed to do that?
Go for it.
I like Apple.
Well, that was a joke there.
All right. Why don't we take that as a vote?
PC
what's better, PC or Apple? PC or Apple? Out there. Android or Apple? iPhone? I'm Apple all the way. iPhone, iPad, Mac Mini, MacBooks, and iMac. I'm just Mac'd out. I'm a Mac daddy. You're an Androidy?
Androdian.
Android. Come on. That's so stupid.
Wild.
Androdian. Androdian. That's so
Oh,
funny.
man.
Freaking hilarious. But okay, did you find something you're gonna share here or what?
Yeah. I'm just
What are you waiting for next week?
I'm just downloading it.
Why? You could just share the screen.
Of course I can.
I knew there was something wrong.
Of course.
Okay, so
All right.
I'm like, why are you extracting? Just share it.
All right. I completely forgot about that part. All right, now give me a second. Now I'm gonna do that.
Give you some solo screen time so people can see the
There
dum
you go.
dum. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm the smart here.
Yeah, the smart.
The smart.
Careful.
Okay.
Choose your language wisely. Okay, I'm waiting.
Choose your language wisely. All right, so let me
Anytime you're ready.
present.
Do
Do,
do 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 do
this.
do 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 do. Okay, I think he's got it. All right, here it comes, people. Hopefully soon. You sharing it?
Dip.
You got to put it up on the screen
No.
from the green. Here, I got it.
Oh, there we go.
I'll just hit play.
All right. Yeah, I got it.
You got to hit play.
Underway at Florida State University in the wake of a deadly mass shooting.
Needless to say, we have multiple crime scenes. This is a very large area we're covering. We have hundreds or thousands of witnesses.
We're live with the latest updates from the scene.
And we begin this hour with that breaking news from Florida State University. We now know 2 people are dead. They are not students. 6 are injured, and police say the shooter is the son of a Leon County deputy and used his mother's personal weapon to commit this heinous crime. We have team coverage from Tallahassee as we gather the latest information from the ground. Good evening. I'm Martha Sigalski.
And I'm Darlene Jones. Certainly a difficult day for our local community. So many with children there in Tallahassee. Here's what we know right now about the shooting. Florida State Police identified the shooter as 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner, the son, again, of a Leon County Sheriff's deputy. Tallahassee police say they found a weapon at the scene that was his mother's former service weapon, and a shotgun was also found at the scene there on campus, though it's unclear if it was used in the shooting. Eichner was shot, but is still alive at this hour in a hospital there in the Tallahassee area. Police say, though, he is refusing to speak with them.
That's right. He has non-life-threatening injuries. This all unfolding at the Student Union, the heart of FSU. It's a central gathering place for students. The Student Union, again, in the middle of this sprawling large campus where more than 44,000 students are enrolled and 16,000 employees. And you have to keep in mind, the shooting started there near the Student Union at 11:50, just around lunchtime, where many people would have been gathered to eat or meet up or go to work at the Student Union.
Yeah, Martha, we began our live team coverage this hour with Channel 9 anchor Greg Warmoth, who is live in Tallahassee. And Greg, as soon as we got word about this shooting, I know you hit the road, headed there, and there is still a large police presence behind you.
There is, and I don't know if you can hear this or not, Darlene, but the bells of the Catholic Church are chiming right now on this Holy Thursday.
Okay, I cut that. I think that was a good place to cut it because they were just going to elaborate on everything they had just told us, essentially. But didn't mean to take your news away. It's saddening for sure. All I got out of that whole thing, and what's most disturbing about everything that I just heard, was that it is the son of a deputy.
The son of a deputy. So the firearm, if I'm not mistaken, it was a handgun.
Well, yeah, I mean a service weapon.
Service weapon is like, yeah,
it's a handgun. Yeah,
yeah. So
maybe that's why only 2 people perished instead of someone coming in with a goddamn assault rifle.
AR-15 or AK-47, right? So, it's and I'm not trying to get political, none whatsoever. But, in this case, I mean, the type of weapon really does determine the amount of damage.
I mean, when you have, especially, even if it's semi-automatic, you just got to keep pulling the trigger. It's not that hard. Right. I mean, an automatic, it goes. But for somebody who has an AR-15 and however many rounds a magazine holds, they can go in and just just pick people off,
Yeah.
especially in a confined area. But if you only have a handgun and only holds a certain amount, you got to be a good shot. I mean, you can't just spray and pray, as they would say. I hate to say that word with that, but a lot of these, well, I don't want to say a lot of them, but a lot of these mass shooters do have skills with guns. They
Some of
know
them
how to
do.
use guns, but a lot of them at the same time will just walk into crowded places where there's not many exits and just play a video game.
Yep.
And some of them will be strategic and almost like the DC snipers. They weren't strategic. They were just impulsive, or what was their
Compulsive, devious.
yeah,
They
had no
pull-
rhyme or reason. They had no like premeditated thoughts on who they were going to shoot. They were just shooting random people.
right.
But they were strategic in the way they were doing it.
Well,
Whereas
yeah.
some people have a strategic plan when they have a gun in their hand. They're going to walk into the school, walk down the halls, start here, do this, do that. They know the layout. They have it all mapped out, and they know how to use a weapon.
Well, yeah. I mean, with the DC snipers, they hid. They converted their car so that they can shoot out their car without anyone really know. So with them, they hid so well that it took them it took them some time to figure out who they were. I mean, despite everything that happened, law enforcement was able to get them in a swift manner to that time. I would say it was still relatively swift because it was still like, I believe it was in maybe a couple of months, if that. I gotta dig, do some digging on that. But this one is pretty sad. Just hearing that, I mean, the type of weapon really does play a part in this. But like you said, the fact that he was the son of a deputy, that part is that's pretty concerning. How was he able to get her weapon, her firearm?
I'm going to guess that, being the son of a deputy, that she assumed or felt safe enough to leave access to that weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And he had access to it. Obviously, he lived in the same home, might have known the combination to the key. I imagine she probably didn't keep it locked up.
Unless he knows the safe, unless, like you said, she was comfortable enough. I don't know.
Well, some people are very diligent. Some people are complacent when it comes to the safety, handling safety or handling weapons at home. Some people have safes. Some people don't. Some people think putting it under the mattress between the box spring is safe and a kid will never find it. Some people feel they have to have Fort Knox built out in their garage and have 14 combinations to get in and get a gun. So who's to say that being a deputy, she didn't have any fear or any sort of reason to feel her son would ever take her service weapon?
Right.
And therefore she didn't leave this particular one locked up.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know though. I mean, I'm not them. So what do you think?
I mean, that could happen. I mean, like I said, I wasn't there, right? But one could say that I'm just envisioning, someone that's in law enforcement, they're always in, such a high risk job, to say the least, right?
Yep.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the firearm was very accessible for them to just grab it. I wouldn't be surprised because, they got targets in their back too. There's a lot of bad people that want to, go against law enforcement. So I wouldn't be surprised either. Or it could be a situation where he knew the safe or whatever, however they protected the firearms. It could be a lot of different things, man. But the big question would be why at this point. That's the big question here. Why did he feel that he had to start shooting? That's the main question.
I have no idea. I'm certain he's refusing to answer questions right now from what the report's saying. Probably because mom said don't talk to anybody until there's a lawyer. Just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a smart thing she's done so far. Aside
Right.
from not locking up her gun, she's got to make up for it. So my thoughts, I don't know. Maybe mental health. I mean, that's the first thing that's going to come to mind. Mental health, right?
Well, I always
He's
will
not
say
even
mental
stood there.
health.
Yeah.
I'm always going to go mental health first with a lot of these situations, because at the end of the day, this is someone that decided to choose violence that day. He chose violence, but the question is why? What caused this person to decide that this is the day? You know, in the college level, I mean, compared to high school, there's so many pressures of the world. The pressures are different versus college, but in high school, you have a lot of bullying. You have, a lot of these
Mhm.
issues that go on, puberty, you name it. When you're in college, a lot of people think that, well, you kind of made it, you're there, but it has its own form of stressors. And I'm not saying that it was because of the college. No one knows at this point. That's why it's so mysterious right now. But I will say this, that college definitely has its own form of pressures. And, there are services. Every university, at least most universities, have some form of mental health services. And I wonder if he choose to take it. I will say this from my own experience. I've heard and I've seen that in the college realm, a lot of these universities they're kind of booked out, and maybe not have the access to it. But who knows? We
Okay.
don't know anything about that.
How many? Okay, I'm gonna bring this up. This is something that's been stupid microphone. I'm gonna smash this thing. It keeps falling
Shoot.
down. Here's the thing. How many there are kids and there are people and there are adults that sometimes they make their own, like, they embellish things, right? They have a bad day at work and all of a sudden they'll diagnose themselves where they have to have full-blown therapy. Then there's
Mhm.
there's people that are really friggin' struggling that need
Right.
therapy overtime.
Right.
So how many people do you think are in this case, I like to say this, the boy who cried wolf, right? Or the girl who cried wolf. There are people out there that plug schedules up when they don't even need an appointment. Like somebody that has perfect teeth,
I,
perfectly
okay.
white teeth. Okay, and I know I might be opening up a can of worms here, but I do have my beliefs that there are people that aren't as in desperate need of mental health services than somebody. There are
Okay.
people that plug
Yeah.
appointments. You're
I,
the licensed therapist. Give me your feedback on that.
I get what you're saying. Only thing I could say with that is that everybody's situation is different, man.
Yeah.
Just because someone is going through a full-blown mental health crisis, psychosis, or whatever, you name it, and the other person is having a bad day or divorce, or maybe they had a breakup, that person who had the breakup still have a situation that needs to be processed, just like the person who's going through psychosis. Mental health shouldn't be ranked, right? It should not, because there are people that's going through it. Someone who's having a bad day with exams, with testing, and all that stuff, that should not be overlooked. But then you also do have, I will say this, you do have people that is a little bit more of a priority. Someone who is that is suicidal, that's having homicidal thoughts, that's having these really urgent things. That is a high priority without a doubt. But the one thing I will say is that everybody's mental health may be a little different, but everybody's mental health is valid, is
Yes.
deserved.
And that's
Now,
why I was careful. I don't mean to throw rocks at people. I just, I
but I
struggle with
get what you're
mental health.
saying. I get what you're saying though, because
Well, there's those
yeah,
kids that have a great life and everything's fine, and then the house next door, the kids are being starved, the crap's getting kicked out of them every day, and the kid next door comes home one day, is actually told he's not allowed to use his smartphone, and he'll turn that into a traumatic situation where the kid next door is just praying for one day of food.
right. So
Okay. And then the kid next door, because dad has good health insurance and a good job and doesn't abuse the hell out of his kid, throws him into a counseling appointment when that kid next door could probably use it more. So I do, yeah, I know, but that's
And that's that. At the end of the day, that's what it is, brother. And that's the
I have to
unfortunate
say
part.
this. Me and Solomon and I had a bet, like a fun bet before the show.
Yes.
Okay. And so
I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. You watch.
I think you're going to.
I'm gonna win.
We'll mention it at the end.
But listen, I mean, money does play a part, unfortunately, and that's why,
Stupid.
you know, healthcare is such an important thing, and that's why, you know, it's still an important topic that always get overlooked, because if healthcare is not where it needs to be, physical health and mental health always get affected. I mean, just imagine, you know, you need these services, you want these services, but you have an insurance where those people, they have they don't cover you, they don't accept it, or
Yeah.
B, they do accept it, but it's a 6-month waiting list, you know, or a 3
Yeah.
months waiting list, or they're 30. A more realistic thing is that they probably don't have a waiting list, but they're like 30 miles away or 50 miles away. You know, that's the reality right now. And it's an unfortunate thing that we live in a society where, depending on your income, you can get access for certain things quickly. But if you are not, if you consider a have not, if you consider someone that have limited income, a fixed income, or you're just flat out broke, but you're not at a state where you're completely homeless, because even with them, even though those services are limited, but those services are out there. But if you're in that bracket where you can't afford it, but the insurance is not really helping, then
Yeah.
you're kind of out of luck. And that's the horrors of really where we're at in this country when it comes to healthcare.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of work that we need to do.
Yeah.
And again, you know, we kind of went on this whole thing on healthcare, but you know, my thing, yeah, I know it started to do the wobble thing.
Wait, we gotta get him a shock mount.
Yes, yes. Follow us, subscribe us, like and share, so that I can
Subscribe,
get
like, and
shock
share. So Giddy Bunny says patients may hold back. Someone going through a divorce may want to unalive. Might want to kill themselves that day. The person in psychosis may not.
There you go. You
Hmm.
see?
Yep, shut me
There
right
you
up.
go. There you go. Well done. And that's why everybody's situation, we can't minimize it, right? Because, you know, that person in psychosis, they might be in psychosis, but, you know, they're just
True.
you know, they need the help, but that person that just went through a divorce might be like completely suicidal, and we can't overlook that. Or
Yeah.
you know, someone who just struggled through, you know, really bad test exams and a lot of pressure, and you know, those are the people you also have to look at. I mean, Virginia Tech, the shooting in Virginia Tech, remember that one, the mass shooting there?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah. It was a,
He
I
was.
think
He
part
wasn't
of it-
okay.
he
What was
wasn't
his
okay.
problem? What was his issues? I'll
I
Google
don't
that one.
recall. Yeah, Google that one, because that one was a very significant component during that time, because
So,
that
like,
was
we want to
one
know
of
what that was in 2023. So, you want to know what his issues were? Here's
right.
here's
Well,
the fast
Virginia
fact.
Tech was like in 2007, I believe. That was way back.
Oh, okay. Hang on. His name was Seng-Hoo Chu.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it was academic
Oh
purposes.
07.
Yeah. Yep. I remember.
Okay. So it says here, this is a timeline. Oh, I hate timelines. 9:01 a.m. Da, 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 da. I just want to know, like, why did he do it? I don't care about the timeline. I already know what happened. I don't know. It doesn't really say anything here about what his issues may be. That's neither here nor there. He was obviously screwed up enough to feel that doing what he did was a good idea, which I think is disgusting. But Giddy Bunny, you can't be too loud for us. Don't worry about it. You're fine. You can keep plowing the messages in. It's no big deal. And we like the engagement. So
Right.
I'm gonna reply to her right now what her email address is on here, so that way she has it.
So
She said she couldn't see it on the screen, so she must be using an Android.
oh, you're funny. Well,
Serious, man. You guys, it's Android. Android always seems to have these problems. I didn't
So-
make these up. Go ahead.
so check this out. The Virginia Tech shooting, which had 32 victims, 17 wounded. That
Yeah.
one was just
That was gnarly.
that was horror, straight horror. But it was unclear. It's to this day, it's very unclear why he did it. It was documented that he had a history of mental health issues,
Okay.
including being diagnosed with selective mutism and severe depression.
What is mutism?
Mutism is when
He doesn't talk. He's mute?
selective mutism. That means
Ooh.
he doesn't really talk. Only he choose when to talk, or he just don't talk at all. So selective mutism, right?
Okay.
But,
So he decided when he wanted to talk and when he didn't.
right.
Does that put him on the
If he-
spectrum?
Some cases, yes. Some cases, it could be, right?
Okay.
But I'm not, diagnosing him, but people with, selective mutism, I always have to say it because, don't want to, have that. But yeah, people with selective mutism, they could be on the spectrum. That is possible. But order outpatient treatment. So he had outpatient treatment in 2005. He was declared mentally ill and was ordered to undergo outpatient treatment after stalking incidents, but this treatment was never effectively.
How did he get his hands on a gun? Was that ever found out? Because, I mean, he shouldn't have been able to even buy one legally if he was ever admitted into a psychiatric hospital. That's a database, especially if there was acts of.
I won.
I know, but we do have a parlay though.
Oh, we do.
Yeah. See why I threw the parlay in?
Yeah.
I was like, what are you pointing at? I thought you were freezing over there like a Heisman Trophy.
The Heisman Trophy. That's funny.
Solomon, what can you do if a guy has selective hearing? I know what I would do, but what would you do?
Now check this out. He was described as a loner. He had trouble communicating and interacting with others, leading to social isolation and potentially exacerbating his mental health issues. So it sounds like he had a history. But like you said, the question is, how was he able to get that? How was he able to get the firearm?
Yeah. Did he steal it? Because you should not be able to buy a gun, especially if there's any domestic records, any hospitalization records, any orders of protection, anything like that. Anything. You should not be able to legally go and buy a firearm, not even a small little.
Depends on the state.
I don't know.
And also, it could be be good timing.
Don't point now. I'm not making me look like I'm laughing at the situation, and I'm not.
No. We have a bet on the amount of viewers that we're going to have, and I won. That's why we pointed up. That's why he's laughing.
Yeah.
But,
we had a parlay. My parlay was 65.
Okay. Well, look, keep going on. But
okay, let's let people know. Before him and I do a live show, we always try to bet each other friendly how many people are going to view live. And I said for the after show, I predict we'll have 50 people that show up live for our after show. I'm sorry. Yeah, I said 50 and we got to 50 and I said, Solomon, you see what's happening? He said, yeah. And then we got to 55 because he said 55, but then I threw a parlay in there at 65 and we just surpassed that.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Well,
I love this.
that's
I love
great.
this stuff. I hope people are enjoying this as much as we are.
Yeah, I know. I hope you guys really enjoy it because we enjoy this stuff, even though we're talking about some really serious nitty-gritty topics. I mean, we try to have a good time, but also get into these dark topics, but not to make the whole thing so gruesome and dreary. You know, we try to bring the facts, bring the data, and we talk about it, have a conversation.
So Giddy Bunny has a question. Was it a handgun or a long gun? And what scenario? Are you talking about the Virginia Tech shooting or the one that just happened at Florida State University? Because Florida State University was a handgun. It was his
Handgun.
mother's service weapon.
Yeah.
Are you talking about she's probably talking about the Virginia Tech. I would assume that he came in with an assault rifle, which would be a long gun.
Yeah.
That would be a long gun.
Well,
he might have come in with both kinds. Wasn't he the one that came in with like a backup weapon or something?
I believe so. I think he was ready to cause more damage, as much damage that he can, unfortunately. So he had two semi-automatic pistols. He had a Walter P22 and a Glock 19. So you also have to remember that where it happened, it was
was a confined area, probably. If you have a semi-automatic pistol, I mean that's just it's not as
it happened in the hall, Norris Hall in West Ambler Johnston dorm. I thought it was in I thought it was in a classroom, like a big lecture hall. So maybe Norris Hall was one of the lecture halls, and then it happened in the dorm.
Okay.
Because I do recall that, a lecture hall, which would have unfortunately made sense because depending on the size of the classroom, it probably was a big lecture hall, But
I understand what she meant by the long gun and the short gun. She said anyone can gift a long gun in some states, and the receiver doesn't need to register it. Huh.
That is true. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But to actually go and purchase, it might depend. Yeah, it's got to be a state thing because I know in New York State,
the laws are strict.
You can't even steal a pack of bubble gum when you were 7 years old and get a stupid gun. You have to go through I
think you have to have an interview with a detective as well.
Everything.
Right?
That I don't know. I don't know the process. I've never applied for a pistol permit, but I know people that have, and they have to jump through freaking hoops to do it.
Yeah, I know people that have, and I think the background, and then I think you do have to have an interview. I think you have to go down to the police station and speak to a detective or something. But
okay. I have an answer for this. She said, for instance, a hunter can pass down his shotguns or give to a friend. No one would know anything. You're right, but at least in New York State, I do know if you do pass a gun along to somebody, even if it is a hunting rifle or anything like that, it has to exchange hands with paperwork. So it definitely is a state-by-state thing. I mean, my friend that was just listening earlier on Instagram was selling a rifle, and he had to go to an actual place where the exchange happened, the paperwork. They had to do all the paperwork for it to make it a legal sale or transfer. That's in New York State, though.
So Shawnee put down Tennessee gun laws are horrible, not strict at all.
Oh, Shawnee. Hi, Shawnee. I know Shawnee.
Hello, Shawnee. I'm assuming TN means Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee. That's where I got Willie from.
Oh, yeah? One-Eye Willie?
Yeah, One-Eye Willie. Yeah, and he's dropping nuclear weapon style farts right now that I can't believe you don't see me tearing up.
You did well. You did well.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Shawnee, I took his attitude away yesterday. He got neutered. He was neutered. He wants to be part of the show, but he was getting a little too aggressive with typing on the computer and playing with daddy's phone, and it was time. He's loving it here where we moved to. He's got so many friends, and pretty much the entire town knows of Willie already. Yeah. He's the community dog here. Willie got fixed. He sure did. The elephant balls are gone. The suckers hung to the floor, man.
Good Lord.
I got sick of seeing. I couldn't walk behind him. I'm like, oh my God. I feel like I'm walking behind an elephant. And he He gained 2.5 pounds in 3 months since we moved here. And I know why. It's because all the treats that people here give him. They carry baskets of treats around with them just for Willie.
They really like them. Yeah. Right. The community, the community over there really likes him.
Oh, they love him.
Yeah.
I can't just sneak down and get a cup of coffee. It's like stopping at the supermarket and talking to everybody you know. So, but he is dropping some heat right now, man. Whew. He should be put in prison.
So I just want to say for the 75 people in here, if you have any questions or if you want to, jump on this topic right now, we are talking about the FSU shooting that just happened today, and we were referencing the Virginia Tech shooting, and we're just having a conversation on just firearms and really we didn't really want to go into the gun laws, but yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about, the state to state thing and certain rules and obligations to carry a firearm and what that will look like.
Okay, well, I got a screenshot here. I'm using my comments for Giddy Bunny because you Android people. Anyways, it says here, yes, you can gift a long gun in Pennsylvania. So it is a state. Specifically, there is no legal requirement to go through a licensed dealer or process a transfer for long guns like rifles or shotguns when gifting them to another person, says U.S. Law Shield. I don't know who they are as a source. I can't confirm nor deny that could be the truth. You can directly hand over a long gun to another adult, even if they are a family member or friend, as long as they are not otherwise prohibited from owning a firearm. In this case, when I said earlier, if you've been convicted of any crime or if you're part of a domestic dispute, even going through a divorce or custody situation, you can't go out and buy a gun usually during that time. And if you're a mental health patient that's been ever admitted or kept in a psychiatric facility, you can definitely not own a gun or even receive a gun as a gift. So we're both kind of right.
So check this out in Florida.
Okay.
And I've heard this like a long time ago. I just want to verify this. This is with shotguns.
Okay.
In Florida, it is legal to possess a shotgun within a private conveyance, like a car, for self-defense or other lawful purposes, even without a license, as long as the shotgun is secure in case or not readily accessible. Florida Statute 790.01 allows for the possession of firearms in a car under these conditions. It's crucial to understand the specific details and limitations outlined in Florida. This is part of statute. So technically, you could have a shotgun if you put in your car, if you put in the right circumstances, without a license.
That's weird.
It's baffling. And I know this because of a friend of mine that did that. So, yeah.
I like how you pulled the penal law code out because I totally just did not remember that. By the way,
that's okay. Well, if there was a penal code,
hashtag penal code.
When I saw the penal code, I was like, oh, okay, so this is a thing. This is again, state by state thing. And every state goes about it differently. What can you say?
Yeah. Well, New York State, you can't. I mean, you got to go through hoops to get a gun. Mm-hmm. If you get certain situations where they can be taken away from you, right. So they're, as much as they say you have the right to bear arms, there's a lot of times you really don't.
But what about if you order it online? What about
That's a good question. You can buy a gun online and they'll just ask to see your ID, but the person that's selling the gun, they're not the ones that do the background checks. They just want to make sure you are the person that's purchasing the gun. And then what they do is they ship it to a dealer closest to you that will then do all that stuff. So if I was to go online, buy a gun, they'd take my money, sell the gun. It would be delivered to a local dealer or place where they sell guns, run the background check at that point. And if you fail that background check, you're not leaving with that gun.
Okay. Because when I thought of that, I thought of in New York about the mass shooting up in Buffalo in Tops.
Yeah.
Because it was said that the guy,
he bought his own guns.
Yeah, but I heard it was online.
Yeah, well, he bought them online, but he
Yeah.
also wasn't restricted from purchasing guns. He
It
was of
wasn't
age.
restricted. Right.
Yeah, he was of age and legally allowed to possess firearms.
Oh, okay.
So he
Okay.
just, yeah, he didn't have any priors
Right.
or
Right.
priors. Like I'm an expert here. He he didn't have any. Oh wait, I got the New York one. Yes, gifting a long gun in New York is generally permitted, but with someone with some important stipulations. A background check is required for all private transfers, including gifts, unless the transfer is into an immediate family member. Well,
Is that
I can
Giddy
tell you,
Bunny?
yeah,
Just come up here.
yeah. I could send her a link if she wants to come and talk with us.
Yeah, just come up.
Let me just invite her. Hang on.
You can have your camera off. That's fine.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me invite. I'm gonna copy the link and try to figure out how to send it to her. Okay, Giddy, I'm just gonna send you a link to your DM. Okay, just come hang out. Hang on, I gotta get to DMs here. I don't have to computer dork it too much when we're doing the live or the actual show. I mean, okay, I just sent you a link to your DM. Okay, just come hang out with us, and you can talk your smack. We're up to 81. See, we went past the parlay, so I won.
Your shenanigans.
Oh, I gotta stretch out. Oh.
Well, it is amazing that we have 81 people here today.
I love it.
Thank you all for coming and supporting us. And
Definitely.
it's now up to 82. And like I said, any questions, comments, or topics that you have, you can feel free to message us, comment, put a post. I mean, right now we're focusing on the happy face murders, but really right now we're just kicking it. We're just talking about different topics. We're now talking about the mass shooting from Virginia Tech back in 2007, only because we were talking about the shooting that occurred at FSU today, that happened earlier today. So,
Yes.
This is a topic that I definitely want us to get into another time. Who knows? Maybe it might be next week. Who knows? But,
I don't know. We didn't really tell anybody what was next week. We decided that we're gonna just come every week and put on a good show. We're starting to understand that what's trending isn't necessarily, oh, look who showed up.
Well.
Hey
Hello,
guys.
Giddy. Hi, now you can talk. I don't have to go through. I'm sitting here talking with my phone and I'm like, what is going on? What is this girl need to get an apple? What's up?
But I guess so. Did you see what my page looks like? It doesn't have where I can comment at.
Yeah, that's an answer.
Yeah, my camera's not on. I look like a potato, so it's not going on.
That's all right.
Mrs. Potato Head over here.
That's okay. Well, welcome. Glad you're here.
Thank you. It was a great show today. I like the both of the the regular show and the after show. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
I think a lot of topics were discussed. A lot.
Yeah, we decided that we're just gonna do these instead of the spaces, instead of handing out multiple mics. What are you all right over there?
No, I was saying we're just gonna flow, but go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, I thought you were choking. I'm like, man, you are too far for me to give Heimlich, bro. I just drove 12 hours. That's another 12. I wouldn't make it to you. Yeah, we decided we're just gonna do shows a little more smoothly now, not be so technical, add a little humor. I'm gonna clean up my mouth a little bit. I still don't agree with the whole TikTok thing. I think TikTok's kind of a joke. But anyways, what's your thoughts on TikTok, anybody?
I don't normally watch it. I don't even have it downloaded and loaded on my phone. I'm old, so I don't. If I start going on there, I'll be on there for 2 hours, 3 hours, just scrolling through stuff. So, I don't bother.
I have my problems with TikTok.
That's
they
okay.
don't like us.
I like it. I like TikTok. I think it's great. I enjoy X. I like all those platforms. I don't think there's a platform that I don't like. I mean, maybe the least. I mean, I'm not too much into Instagram, but I haven't really touched it in a while. But I like all of them.
Yeah, I'm a Twitter, Facebook guy, or X, formerly known. Why don't you just put it back to Twitter, man? Everybody says Twitter still. Why don't you just put it back? Redesign the logo. What do you think of that, Gay Buddy? Just go back to Twitter. Why is it gotta be X?
I don't know anybody that calls it X.
I know. I lost like when I finally started using them. Like, what happened to Twitter? And everyone's like, it's called X now. I'm like, what? When did that happen? Like, what are you talking about? I don't like change, obviously. So, but yeah, I'm glad you like the show. We are getting better, by the way. We're gonna start getting merchandise soon, to where Solomon and I are gonna get custom hats made,
And
maybe a
stickers.
hoodie,
Nice.
and we're getting stickers. Do you like stickers, Kitty? What's your take on it?
And I
If I
love
had-
stickers. Is that the
Do you really?
not no unalive sticker? Is that what
Yeah,
you're
you like
getting?
that? Yeah, you like that one?
Yeah, I do like that one. Unalive, and there's a few things that people change the words to that, it's kind of funny.
Or our TikTok analyst over here. Let me see if I can point right. We'll know more about that. What words are they not allowed to use? Here, I put her in the middle. So
Kill is a big one. Rape is another big one. I think those are the big two. But the thing about TikTok is that some words you think is okay one day, and then the next day is not okay. So sometimes it's just kind of hard to catch up with them. But I've the videos that I do on TikTok, I've finally have structured it to still be informative, but I'm not using the TikTok language like unalive. Like all my videos, I haven't used unalive maybe one time, but yeah, there's ways around it. But YouTube, on the other hand, you can say as you want, as you please. So
hell yeah,
I do enjoy it, and that's Frankie's safe space. Is
it's my safe
YouTube.
place. That's my blankie.
A
got my
nice
blankie.
weighted blankie.
I think
Although,
you guys definitely need a smart woman on here. I think that should be your third.
should I go there?
Oh man.
Yeah,
When's
you
the
know
draft?
what? Forget I said that.
I didn't say no. I didn't even say what I was going to say.
I may not have said that right. And look, and you put me right in the middle too. Okay.
Yeah, you're getting a Solomon and
Frankie.
Frankie's meat sandwich. Oh, I'm actually choking on Pepsi. See, she's choking too.
Anywho,
He's bad, Solomon. He's bad.
that's all right. Well, Frankie is like,
I'm one
gosh,
of a kind. I'm unique.
yeah. Frankie's Frankie. He's once you get to know him, he's good. He's a good guy. You just gotta get to know him. A lot of people say that Frankie, they have his beliefs about him, but Frankie is truly a really good guy. He has a good heart, and maybe he might be rough around the edges, but in the middle, it's all good stuff.
Who described it best?
So
Somebody told me this one time, and I'm trying to remember who. I'm like what the hell did they say? I'm like a toasted marshmallow, hard and crusty on the outside, but soft and mushy on the inside.
Oh, that's cute.
I should make a T-shirt for that. That'd be some great stickers right there.
Right.
Hard on the outside, mushy on the end.
Or we
See,
could
I
just
don't think you're rough on the outside, but I think that I am also, so maybe that's why I don't notice it.
Maybe. Good minds think alike.
Yeah.
See? I'm not alone.
Solomon's the nice one.
Yeah, I'm gonna slowly.
You're
turn
the
him into a
villain.
Yeah, I'm the vigilant. I'm an educated villain, though. I do have an education.
Absolutely. And
I do. Willie, stop. My dog always bothers me when I'm doing stuff on the computer or phone. He always wants to come up on camera. He always wants. I can't pick you up. You just got neutered, buddy.
Yeah, I was going to tell you that earlier. We need to start seeing some pictures. You need to put one up next time.
he was there last week.
Yeah, well, she probably didn't know we're not doing the regular spaces anymore. We're doing these now. It's our after shows. Right. But I did bring him up on my lap last week. You can probably watch replay, but I'm not going to pick him up now because he just got clipped yesterday, and I don't want any problems with that. Oh, he's fine, believe me.
No, yesterday I thought Thursday was like Wednesday or Friday, so that's what happened last week.
Yeah. So Sue, you like
off a day?
I've been off days a lot. So you like the flow of the show, how things are going? You see this expanding into some good stuff?
Yes, I really, really do, and I really like it. The only thing is, I couldn't find the comment thing, and I don't know. wanted to say stuff to you guys or give information or ask questions, and I couldn't, and it was killing me.
Well, now you know how to. You can
Now
just
you know.
we can just
No, it's still the link I could do, but did you see my screen? There was nothing on there
yeah, I
for
saw it.
comments. I don't know what that was.
That's an Android screen. That's what that is.
Yeah, I'm an Androidian too. So.
See,
Android is awesome.
Sometimes it's quality over quantity.
I didn't hear if you guys said yet what's next week.
We didn't.
We didn't.
Oh, okay.
It's Mystery Week.
Mystery
Week. Yeah, we're gonna try a new theme, Mystery Week. Not only do we bet on how many people are gonna view or listen, we're gonna come up with Mystery Weeks.
So when you get merchandise, are you guys going to do like a giveaway or something to
to our most loyal listeners? Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do giveaways and contests. And
no, I mean raffles and stuff, so that way more people are on here.
Yeah, we'll definitely do raffles and stuff. I mean,
yeah, we were thinking of starting a Patreon page too, and like if based on what people donate, they get a bigger say in the show. Like tiers.
Nice.
Like if you donate X amount a month, you can pick a topic once a month that we'll do a show on if it's something that fits our scope. If you go up another level, you can be a guest co-host for 15 minutes of one of our shows, so on and so forth. And if you get to a certain level and you donate X amount of dollars per month, then you would get a piece of merchandise, a hat, and more appearances on the show, things like that. We haven't even really started to discuss that yet, but I have dabbled in the way of thinking when it comes to something like that, to entice people. Hey, just like you want a voice, right? The after show is the perfect place for you. We do our show, you come join us on the after show, and I'm not saying open up your wallet yet. You might have to soon though, Giddy. So get ready, giddy up. I'm not afraid. I'm not a panhandler. I've been called a panhandler before when I wanted to do a GoFundMe to get equipment for a podcast to upgrade our studio. I got called a panhandler. I'm like,
but that's free advertisement too. You get people wearing the hats and the hoodies and whatever, and people ask them about it, and the word gets around.
Well, I got Raw Live hoodies and stuff that I have for Raw Live Productions, and my show formerly was the Raw Live Show. So we're gonna him and I are definitely gonna get some merchandise for ourselves to see what kind of feedback we get on it, and if we get enough people that are interested in purchasing the merchandise, then we'll do pre-orders, and when we get to a certain amount, we'll place the order. So we're gonna first design it, come up with it, wear it, and get feedback on it instead of buying a whole bunch of shit that people might not like.
Yeah, that's good. Can you get like a half top or something, and then we could have Frankie wear it if we donate so much money?
You gotta, there'll be, if you donate, we'll do those kinds of things. Like if
maybe
like a stripathon for Frankie J. See my keg.
I do.
The 6-pack left here. Danny just asked, was that tonight? Yes, it was.
I was just about to message her too. But
who's real fast? Is it like a few people on there who's been commenting? Because I couldn't see.
Where on X?
Like on your comments? Yeah.
Oh, on I don't know if you can see the screen we're on now, but if you look in comments, we can see comments from Facebook, YouTube, X.
Oh.
You see it over there?
No.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're a guest.
Oh, wait, there goes chat. Oh, okay. Now I got it.
Yeah, so we can see the content. So right now we're simulcasting out to Facebook, YouTube, and X. Instagram only lets you do a live feed for 1 hour. So at the 1 hour mark, we got cut off. So we're 23 minutes over an hour. So they cut us off on the live feed. That's why a lot of people, that's probably why they don't do long form on like an Instagram, because you get cut off in an hour. So we keep our, well, no, it's just not that kind of platform. It's like a,
but it's alive though. It's alive. Like you could be on live for a couple hours,
Yeah, well, you can be, just not on Instagram.
Do you get a lot of viewers on Instagram? Like how's that platform?
I don't use that for the show. I just use Instagram for the after show, and then because if it cuts off at the hour, it's not really a big deal. But sometimes I worry if Solomon and I go over the hour mark doing the live show, then people will miss that last however many minutes. So I
Yeah.
pretty much leave Instagram out of it for the most part. So I'm
We
gonna
should do it
send,
with some of the. Did you ever see the TikTok videos that cut off right before they're about to say something?
yeah.
That's what you
That's
guys should do for Instagram. You should
Oh,
like just go through the whole story and right at the end just cut off.
but yeah,
And the most important part about this case, the most
is
important thing you have to
like
understand is,
And then
yeah,
tell them to get
so-
on the platform that makes more money for you guys
yeah.
if they want to know the ending.
Yeah. Well, it's like those stupid
I'm
reels.
a shyster.
That's okay. There's like those people that'll do those reels, like they'll be doing something or like some sort of puzzle or something stupid, and you just want to see what happens, and
Uh,
they'll say just watch till the end, and then you watch till the end and nothing happens.
yeah,
are-
I watched like a cooking one like that before. And it was
Clickbait.
aggravating.
I'm like,
yeah, the
man,
clickbait is quite crazy on Instagram. I mean, and they don't pay their creators
on
that
Instagram.
well. I mean, they do, but it's not that good.
Well, it's part of
Yeah,
Meta.
I've heard that.
It's part of
Yeah.
Facebook. It's Meta. So I mean,
Oh,
and
okay.
the hardest place to monetize is on YouTube. So where
Oh.
our main playground is right now, because we were discussing this earlier. YouTube is more of long form content. People, Solomon was explaining it best, where it's not a huge platform for people watching live. It's more like TV style.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
nowadays people use YouTube as just entertainment nowadays because the content, the creators are so good now. The top dogs that you see, like the Mr. Beast of the worlds and Ray William Johnson that got Frankie on, he does the true crime. He is very good with his stuff. That is what people are looking for, like stuff that they can record, they play, they can, sometimes watch it with family. The live is not something that is their highest priority because they have so much good content right now, so many creators with good content. And then of course the shorts now, people are making just amazing shorts. And
Yeah.
people, because shorts is something that you can like and you go through different
Solomon's playing freeze tag over there without us.
what happened, Jeff Reese?
No,
Yeah, it just froze.
no, you didn't freeze.
Oh.
They're just making
I
fun of you
didn't
for no reason.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Danny. Just joined us over on YouTube, actually. See?
Hello, Danny.
Hey,
Welcome.
Danny.
Oh,
So,
Giddy
yeah.
knows Danny. That's right. Danny, if you want to come up, you can. We can invite up to 10 people on our stage here, Giddy Bunny.
Wait, which Danny is it? I can't see. I don't have that screen up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will figure this out.
Yeah, well, don't
someday.
beat yourself up. By the time you figure it out, they'll be outlawed and you'll just have to get an iPhone anyways, so you might as well just wait it out. at
I
this
know.
point.
I'm looking for a new phone, and I was thinking about it, but I've had Android for so long. I prefer it over the iPhone. All my kids have iPhones. And plus,
Well,
I'm rough with my phones. I drop them all the time. Like I'm clumsy.
Jeez. Well, I mean, any phone you drop, iPhone or Android, they're all gonna break. What's the difference?
Yeah, but Android's like always like a lot cheaper. So
Well,
my kids get the $1,000 phones, and I get like the $200 phones.
in all
So,
due respect, you can buy used iPhones and they still work, and you can turn them on in the service and not have to.
Actually, the new like Samsungs are actually a little more expensive than the new Apple
Why?
iPhones. However,
How?
because it's better. However, because there's so many different Androids, you can get a much better deal, right? You can get much cheaper phones and it'll still be good quality.
I think Samsung, I think it's A26 that they're up to.
I have both.
Like how they go, with the numbers.
Both what?
I have both phones.
The iPhone is obviously not yours.
It is mine. I have one for business and one for personal.
Oh.
One for pleasure.
Sure.
Every time he lays his phone down on the table, you hear that.
Okay, I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
According to phones. Now I know you're married, Solomon, and
Yes.
So you might want to, ask your wife this question too, because I hear this a lot, that if you're out to dinner with someone and they put their phone down, how do you put your phone down? Do you guys put it face down or face up?
Face up.
Frankie?
Yeah, unless you're hiding something.
See,
Face up.
I always put face down on my tables at home. Like, so if I'm out, I automatically do that. And I
Well,
don't
you
know
could-
why. I just did it all the
Well-
time. But they say that if you do that, then you're hiding something from the person that you're out on a date with or having dinner with or whatever.
Well, personally, if you're going on a date with somebody, your phone shouldn't even be out on the table. If you
I
have
agree. I agree with
any
that.
manners. But I mean, I could see laying it face down if you wanted to protect it from something spilling on it or falling on it and breaking it. But in any case,
Yeah, I've just always done face down, but I have kids and pets, so maybe that's why I started doing it.
or maybe you're just weird.
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
So,
you could
because
just be
people said
weird.
that to me, and I'm like, I always do that. And then I'm wondering how many people thought I was hiding stuff. Now I'm self-conscious about it.
Start putting your phone face up. flip the screen. There we go. That's our next sticker. Flip the screen. So we're getting sticker ideas. Hang on, let me write these down.
We are.
What was the first one? Oh yeah,
Unalive.
just like cross
Unalive.
through it,
Mhm.
and then flip your screen up. Flip it up. There we go. Flip it up. That's the second sticker.
See this flow? See this flow with the third person as a female? This is amazing.
Solomon, she's pitching us over here.
I can hear that.
Everybody in the comments are like, yeah, we love her. Keep her
Yeah.
on. Keep her on.
Actually, we just lost followers. Hang on.
Were we at 90? Now it's down
We were.
89.
One of her kids flipped the phone.
Flip the phone.
You're so mean.
You set your. She's definitely got blonde hair, I believe. There's red. or
Yeah,
brown going
it's like a strawberry blonde, but yeah.
on. Yeah. Well, hey,
Why? What are you trying to say about blondes, Frank?
I didn't say anything about blondes. I just guessed your hair color. See,
Mhm.
that's what happens when women. They always assume. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. See, that's what happens when women. I get in trouble.
You get in trouble because you say things like that, Frank.
Well, I mean, I've said a lot of things that I haven't gotten in trouble for yet.
Ooh.
It's coming though. Anyways,
You can say anything to a woman and we'll turn it right back on you and think of something to say to you. So.
Well, you can try. I used to play baseball.
What do you mean we could try?
You can try to say whatever you want to say. Can't hurt my
Whatever I
feelings.
want to say, like anything.
Yeah, doesn't bother me.
Okay, you see how I just turned all those back on?
I'm not losing
I
sleep.
gave you a little demonstration there, Frank.
Look at we got our two followers
We
back.
turned everything back on you.
We got our 2 followers back when we set her straight. we just got another one because I said flip the screen up. Now we're gonna get another one if we want stickers. Wait till we start getting leather jackets.
Leather jackets.
Letterman
Like
jackets.
a patch on it. Oh, I can get like a bunny patch.
She's already ordering her jacket. we haven't even got a 2-cent sticker yet. She's ordering her leather jacket. But we're gonna have to.
I'm
cut
just
this
gonna
off
make
here.
myself an unofficial host.
There you go. I mean,
And wear all the gear and and you guys will be like,
she'll be
no,
our-
she's some crazy lady.
She's our marketing strategist. She's
There you go.
putting our gear out there in front of all the accounts that have blocked me.
Probably.
I'll give you the 472 people that have me blocked, and you can put all of our merchandise advertising on their pages.
Oh my goodness.
I have 587 followers. I used to have double that. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, I think I'm almost at 2,000. I think
Oh,
I'm
good
like
for you.
17 or 18
Nice.
something.
Nice.
Wow, good for you.
I don't know how, because
Wow.
I'm not that nice. But
There's a lot.
I'm
of that
kidding.
going
I'm
on.
delightful.
There's a lot of that goes around though. It seems like a lot of the mean people get all the followers. I'm not saying
Is that
you.
what it is?
I think so.
Frank,
What?
the blonde thing, and now the mean people get all the followers. Come on.
Yeah, well, I'm the one that's going to get the flashback from that.
Are you calling her a mean girl there, Frankie?
Yeah, he called me blonde and mean, and Frankie,
The mean blonde, giddy buddy.
the mean blonde,
The mean
blonde bunny.
The faceless wonder. But yeah, I think we got to wrap it up now because I'm getting tired. I got to let my dog out because he's starting to melt the paint in my apartment and it's burning my eyes. And we've had a long night. We did a good show.
Wait, what did you do? You painted your apartment?
No, my dog is dusting me. It's a Boston Terrier, and their farts are so damaging to the nostrils, the eyes, and if left unattended long enough, can melt paint.
Nice.
Yeah, so
I heard the
essentially
paint part. I didn't hear the other.
Yeah, it's like a heat wave going through my place right now. He's got to go potty for the night, and Solomon and I have been at it since we started. We always get together a little while before the live show, put the live show on.
Yep.
And then we do the after show, so I'm burnt out.
Yeah, I thought the after show is only going to be a half hour for some reason. I don't know why I thought that.
Well, we just said we'll just go with the flow on it and see how it goes. And I'm just to the point now where it's like my dog is dictating my future at this point.
Of course.
So I'd rather take him outside so he can go. I don't like dogs going into the bathroom inside. Something like that bothers me.
Okay, well, I'm going to exit so you guys can say what you have to say. But thank you, and it was good seeing you guys. Take care.
Show up next week.
Get lots of rest. Okay,
yeah,
I'm going to leave.
All right.
If I can figure it out.
Thank you, Giddy.
All right, Giddy. Peace in the Middle East. Well, that was cool. So we had our first live guest that came on. So if anybody out there wants to participate like that, just shoot us a message, a DM or whatever, and we can send you a link. You can come up on camera, not on camera, and come up and mingle with us if you don't want to use the comments. But Solomon, I think we did a good job today. I was real pleased with the turnout. Thanks everybody again for showing support, showing up for us every week. And remember, if you have any questions about the shows, or have any show ideas that you want us to dabble with in the future, send us an email at info@rawlive.com. It's on the screen there, 2 W's. So it's info@rawwlive.com. And you can follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at these two addresses here, at Raw Live and at MH Blueprint 61515. Still think that's like a Social Security number.
Not my Social Security number.
Anyways, we want to thank everyone, and we're going to take off for the night. Thanks to everybody that's been here, and we'll see you all next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday, on all the platforms.
Take care,
brought
everyone.
to you by Raw Live Productions.
Raw Live.